What up, good people? Happy Monday. It's April 8th. Great to see you. Um, just making sure my tech is good. I'm using my camera. What's happening? Why do I have two? Okay. I'm using my mic, which I don't usually use. I use my AirPods. So I just want to make sure that the sound is good, that I turned everything on, that you guys can hear me properly. And then we'll get started. Don't worry about the background. Don't worry about what's happening behind me. We're all good on my end. I am working out of a co-working space, and so things happen. On my end, I am working out of a co-working space, and so things happen. Okay, great. Alrighty. I am up. I am live. Hopefully the internet is going to behave herself because I can't move any closer to the internet, honestly. I really can't. I must have to sit up with the modem in my lap because I can't do anything more than that. I'm just going to share this out really quickly. I am using two monitors, so if you see me looking off to the side, that's because I'm just making sure that I can see the comments, that I can see everything happening around me. All right. I'm sharing this out, and then we'll get started. Please feel free as well to share this out, like it, love it, repost it, whatever you want to do. I'll appreciate it. Share it with someone who needs to be in on this conversation. Heck, tag yourself so that you can come back and remember to come back and listen to it later. I love you guys who watch on the replay, who also watch live. I love all the plays. Love y'all. I appreciate you taking your time to watch and comment and give me feedback online and offline. Come on, paste. All right, cool. Okay, so now that that is done, let me introduce myself. So I really was trying to go live at 7 o'clock, right? But here's the thing. At 6:56, I realized, you know what? I can't go live without tea. And then I was like, girl, your face dead dry. Like, you don't even put on a lip gloss this morning. So you need to do something about that as well. And then I had to set up. And then I had to try to catch some light, which I don't know if this is helping. I don't know if this is doing a great job. But whatever the case may be, we reach. I did not go live last week. I broke my own protocol because I needed to rest, okay? I needed to rest. I was tired. I had a long weekend because I planned a wedding for last Saturday, the Easter weekend. And so it took a lot. It took a lot out of me. And so I needed to recuperate. And so I just rested on the Monday and I did not go live at all. So thank you for tuning in. For those of you who do not know who I am and just watch me ramble for the first several minutes of this, thank you for sticking through it. My name is Shana Edgecombe. I go by Shana E. I am a pricing and positioning strategist. I am the founder. I am the mastermind behind Trap Consulting. If you're watching on the Trap Consulting page right now, thank you. If you're watching on my personal page, thank you. Trap is the tough love that you and your business need to get better, right? So I am all about helping you gain more confidence, helping you make more money, and lead your market. And a lot of that has to do with mindsets, right? And tonight we're talking a bit about mindset, but also some practical things as well. The two go together. I'm also a believer, I'm a Christian, and so that goes in and out of my conversations with you as well. You know, faith without works is dead. mindset and strategy, the two can't be separate. The same way how faith and works can't be separated, okay? You have to have the two together. And so that's what I am very big on. I've worked with many sized, different sized businesses, from the solopreneurs, the single creatives, to the medium and even larger businesses as well. I used to offer a whole lot of services, but thankfully, I got very real with myself about what I do and do not like to do, and I suggest you do the same. And so I really started to niche down and focus on what it is that I love to do, right? Because I always say that you should not build a business that you hate. Okay, you have to be very careful of that. Why? It's like, you get a job, and the job description says, and all other duties as assigned. As the owner of a business, or as a freelancer, a solopreneur, whatever you call yourself or consider yourself to be, you should not also in the fine print have and all other services that you asked me for. If you do not know how to do those things well, or if you don't like doing them, even though you do those things well, okay? Do not build a cage to put yourself in. Some of us already feel like we are in cages on our jobs. Do not also build a business that you feel puts you into a cage. That literally makes no sense, okay? So I am an accredited small and medium enterprise consultant. I have been working as a consultant since 2017 in my own business and contractually for others. Pricing and positioning is near to my heart because I used to struggle. I used to have heart palpitations. I used to have anxiety when people would ask, "Oh, you know how to do this thing? How much do you charge?" Can I tell you? Crickets, silence. My heart started fluttering. My mind just shut down, but also racing at the same time. I don't know how that happens and how that works, but it happens, okay? I had all the negative feelings, and it literally was because I wasn't confident enough to say, this is my price. In fact, heck, I didn't even know how to calculate what my price was. So this is a journey that I've been on, and I see that happen with so many other people, especially creatives, right? And so I've almost made it my mission to educate people about pricing, right? And then how to stand on your prices and how to position yourself as a leader in whatever it is that you do, right? So I really love supporting aspiring entrepreneurs, emerging entrepreneurs, established entrepreneurs. And I've gotten to do that through several programs. They include the U.S. Embassy's Academy of Women Entrepreneurs, the Canoe Innovation Hub, the Royal Caribbean Kickstarter Program, the Bridge Program with ArrowLink, and several others that I've gotten the opportunity to be a part of as well. Okay? So, without further ado, let's get into tonight. Why did I choose this topic? Why did I choose to say the opportunities that you don't get? You know how people say no is a complete sentence? You don't have to give any explanation outside of no. Here's why I chose this topic tonight. Because I felt like it. That's it, that's all. Because I felt like it. Now I could do that here. Now when it's how to determine my prices, how for you to determine your prices, don't say because I felt like it, because I'll come straight to that screen and slap you, okay? It's not because you felt like it. I'm talking tonight on this topic because I felt like it, because I feel that this is something that needs to be talked about on a continual basis, okay? There are some of us, and I used to be one of these people, right? So I'm talking from my own experience, and I'm also talking from a place of having grown out of things and still growing out of things, right? But I used to be one of those people, and you tell me if you fall into this category as well. I needed like billboard signs, okay? I needed the big flashing neon light to say, yes, go do that. That's a good decision to make. There are some of us, we waiting on a sky to split open and for God to say, yes, do that. And even still, we would question, A, if the sky did actually open, B, if that was actually God talking to us, 3, were we hallucinating anyway? Did we even hear anything? So we're waiting on signs, and then sometimes we get confirmation, sometimes we get signs, and then we still question the signs and the confirmation, right? Which, by the way, y'all, if y'all hear the sky split open, if y'all hear a crack, that's time to repent. That ain't time to consider, oh God, I can pivot and I'll start that business or whatever. No, it's too late for that. Repent. Okay? But seriously, some of us expect the red carpet to be rolled out for us when we decide that we're going to start this business. We want the public, whoever they are, to be just as excited about our business as we are, right? But the reality is, it's our baby, it's our brainchild, it's our thing, it's our vision. Nobody else has to share that with you, okay? Now, on the rare occasion, you might find a like-minded person or partners who are just as engaged, but that's rare, okay? Remember that just because you build it doesn't mean that they have to buy it. There used to be, years ago, this belief that if you build it, they will come. And many large corporations, let's look at the US, many large corporations acted on, if we build it, they will come. We still exist, we're still selling, they will still keep coming. And then Kmart bit the dust, Blockbuster bit the dust, Blu-ray is still trying to hold on. There are so many examples of businesses that, Toys R Us, so many giants that we thought the world would always have are no more, okay? And I want you to know that don't hold into your mind that people are privileged to buy from you. In some ways, it's the other way around. That's not the world that we live in, where you could just create something and then, hey Robert, thanks for watching. Long are the days where you could just drop something and then people run to it. The vast majority of us are not celebrities. And even with celebrity, they market. They have to market. They have to take meetings. Some of them have to find investors. Some of them have to do some heavy lifting, even though they have a name, their name that they could drop. Okay? So I also want to say this, and I want to add this into the conversation. There is a state of flow that you can find, right? And in that flow, people say, stay in your own lane. In that lane, things will be easier. I said easier, not easy, right? Works is the equivalent of, if you're floating in the ocean, right? If you're floating in the ocean, you have to hold your body in a certain way to continue to float. That's work. You're not going against the grain. You're not going against the tide. You're going with the current. You're allowing the current to take you. You're allowing yourself to flow with the water. But at the same time, there's work to be done where you have to hold your body in a certain way where you can remain floating. There is a state of flow that you can experience. But there's also work that has to be done. And unfortunately, some of us do not want to do the work, or we don't want to do the work that we don't like to do. Let me tell you something. Unless you can build a team, unless you have partners, unless you can outsource, if you are new in your business, you're not going to have the luxury of saying, you know what, I only want to focus on making the ice cream. I don't want to have anything to do with selling the ice cream, but finding the people to buy the ice cream. I don't want to have anything to do with delivering the ice cream. I don't want to deal with customer service at all. I don't want to deal with checking orders. I don't want to deal with setting up how people buy the ice cream from me. I only want to make ice cream. Oh, okay. So you have partners, you have money for other people to do the stuff. You have people like family or who will be invested because you're invested. How does that work? You're still going to have to do the work. And entrepreneurship is one of those things where you are going to pick up skills whether you want to or not. out of necessity. I say this all the time. I never thought that I would be sitting here in Canva making stuff. I never thought that I would have to, be a public speaker. I never thought that I would have to learn how to do certain things. But yet here I am, right? And none of those skills are wasted. And so I had to be willing to put in the work. You have to be willing to put in the work. Y'all know who Wayne Gretzky is? Talk to me. Do you know who Wayne Gretzky is? Wayne Gretzky, in case you don't know, is the Michael Jordan of the NHL, the National Hockey League in the States. Well, they're in Canada as well, right? He is considered the MJ of the NHL. He played 20 seasons. He led the NHL in scoring, in assists, in points. Okay? Wayne Gretzky says you miss 100% of the shots that you do not take. You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. Okay? You learned about him from Everybody Hates Chris? Yeah. He actually retired in 1999. So some of you may not know who he is because that was a while ago, or you just weren't focused on hockey at that time, right? A lot of us were into basketball. Wayne Gretzky was so good that he was the last player in the NHL to not have to wait to be inducted into their Hall of Fame, meaning that as soon as he retired, they hung up his jersey and put him into the Hall of Fame. There's usually a waiting period. For context, Michael Jordan waited about 6 years before he was inducted into the NBA Hall of Fame. Wayne Gretzky went into the NHL Hall of Fame immediately, okay? And he was the last person. They waived the rules for him. That's how impactful he was. And you may be asking, well, Shana, what you talking about this white man for? Sorry, I had to say it. Who is this man? What is the relevance, right? Here's the relevance. The man who said you miss 100% of the shots you do not take, y'all want to know what his field goal percentage was? Or sorry, they call it shots attempted, right? His shooting percentage. Y'all want to know what his shooting percentage was? It was 17.6%. He made 17.6% of the shots that he attempted over his 20-year career. Now, who could do the math on that for me? Who could do the math? Tell me, who can do the math? What does that mean? How many shots did he miss? Quick maths. How many shots did Wayne Gretzky miss in his career if he, quote unquote, only made less than 18%? Wayne Gretzky, Robert said I'm asking a lot. Wayne Gretzky missed more than 82% of the shots that he made, that he attempted, sorry. He made 17% and he missed a little over 82%. So what does that even mean? Why am I talking to you about that? Because a few weeks ago, I spoke to you about audacity. Having the audacity to try, having the audacity to make attempts, having the audacity to believe, right? How many of us have the audacity that if we're going to miss, on average, 82% of the times that we attempt anything, particularly in our careers, in our businesses, how many of us would keep going? How many of us would keep going? Sometimes I share statistics with you guys, and one of them is that 70% of businesses that start in the Bahamas shut down within their first year in business. 70%, right? And my theory is that much of the time, those businesses shut down not because of cash flow issues, although those can be a major factor. Cash flow issues can be a major factor. It's also mindset. It's also stamina. It's also having the belief, the audacity that they should keep going. The belief and the audacity that one day momentum can pick up, and one moment, one sale, one encounter, one conversation, one customer can change the trajectory of the business, and that it won't always be hard as it is in the beginning. So that's why I say there are some of us who we forfeit opportunities because we don't even try. We don't even try to get in the room, let alone get to the table. Some of us don't try to start whatever it is that we have in our mind or our hearts to do. Some of us don't think that we're qualified for various reasons, okay? Some of us, we would rather complain about how the system, the man, the powers that be, the politicians, the this, the that, hold us down or hold us back instead of attempting to do anything. We set up the excuses. Some of us stack up the excuses so that we feel justified in not trying. But we miss 100% of the shots that we don't take. So, and I'm not talking to you guys here off air. I'm talking to you because I have experience with this. Remember, I told you I used to be one of those people. I had to have a big flashing sign that said, yes, you could do that. Yes, girl, that's a good idea. Yes, try it out. Yes. I used to be like that. I used to be one of those people. I would be crippled with fear of failure, crippled with what would they think? Who I go on to cuss just now. Who is they? Let's talk about that for a second. Who is they? Who are these invisible people that we're like, oh, I don't want them to judge me? Who is them? Sir, ma'am, who is them? Who is them? I promise y'all, if we really stop and we think about sometimes when we say they or them, and we say, who am I really talking about? Some of us can't think of any one person who really has meaning in our lives. We might think of like a few people who, we might suspect they're talking about us, right? Haters, whatever. Yes, they exist, but I mean, my gosh, they are a small percentage of your life, right? But there are some of us, we can't name one or two distinct people who we actually care about or whose opinions we should care about when we talk about they and them are holding us back or they or them are judging us. It's really excuses. Long ago, I think it was over a year ago. I don't remember the statistic, but I will say to you, the average human has a minimum of 20,000, I believe it's 20,000 thoughts per minute. That's a lot. I think it ranges between 20 and 60,000 thoughts per minute, right? And do you all know that the majority of those thoughts center around us? The majority of those thoughts, let me actually get the proper stats because I feel like that's not right and I don't want to misspeak. Let me get the proper stats. On how much thoughts the average person has. Okay, sorry. Yes. That's a day. That's an entire day. Okay? It says that the average person has around 50 to 70 thoughts per day. Not per minute, because I was like, that's excessive. I would go crazy. I don't think it's that. 50 to 70 thoughts per day, right? Most of those thoughts, those thousands of thoughts, are centered around us and things that concern us. Ain't much space for people to be thinking about you like that, is my point. But there are some of us who allow the opinions of imaginary or real people hold us back. And most of the time, those people are thinking about themselves and the things that pertain to themselves and very little to do with you. Be mindful of that. Okay? I also want to say, again, sharing my experience, that I have had to be confronted when it came to, why are you slunking? Even now, I have friends who are like, so you keep saying you can do this thing. When are you going to do this thing? Aren't you going to do this thing? Didn't you have a deadline? Didn't you miss this thing? What are you doing with this? What are you doing with that? You said that you were going to do this. I am confronted just as much as I confront you guys, okay? It's just my confrontation happens off air. I literally just relaunched a website that I had for my floral business. I relaunched it a few days ago. Can I tell you all that that website was 80% done a month or two ago? 4 to 6 weeks ago. That was 80% done. It was just little small things that I needed to sit down and tweak and finish, which I just made a final change before I went live. Okay? Why did it take me so long to finish the website and launch it? Because I'm offering new services that I've never offered before, not on a wide scale, not publicly. I've done the things, yes, but not on this level or this scale. And so I was procrastinating because the new website has those options to hire me for those things. Let me go into a little bit more detail because I think some of you could see yourself in this, right? So I am also a floral educator, right? I'm a designer as well as a floral educator. So for the last several years, I've been leading workshops primarily with Bloom Bahamas, for floral design workshops, right? In store and offsite, like in Lyford Key at the clubhouse. And so I decided, you know what? I want to take this deeper. I want to offer floral design workshops, but for people who actually want to become florists themselves, right? Not just like a fun activity, but they also want to become florists or who are florists and want to get better and expand their skills. And I've been asked about this before, and I would always say, let me get back to you about that. Okay? Me running. And what was I running for? It's not like I am offering something that I haven't done before, but in the back of my mind, I was like, yeah, but you haven't done it on your own before. You've always done it for other people. You've always done it for another shop. You've done it for that demographic. You've done it for whatever. You've not done it for yourself. And I had to get a hold of myself a week or two ago and say, girl, you frustrate me yourself because you don't make sense. Because I also talk to myself and I'm real with myself. I also talk to myself. I say, Shana, you are the problem, because who cares if you've never done it through your own business? You've been doing it for someone else for several years. Why you think you're suddenly a beginner, or you're having this beginner mindset, this beginner mentality? I had to check myself. There are some of you who have to have that very real and same conversation. Why do you think that just because now you're doing it for yourself or your own business and you've been doing something for years that you're not qualified? That's imposter syndrome. I bind that in the name of Jesus for you and me. It doesn't make sense. Imposter syndrome literally sticks on to these little bits and pieces of fear, and then they magnify them to turn it into a whole thing, right? And they're not rooted in any type of reality a lot of the time. They're not. But they feel real, I'll tell you. It feels very real. It feels very real to be afraid of being judged, to be afraid of people asking, well, what qualifies you? Okay. But the reality is that we can't get upset when we see somebody else doing the very same thing or a very similar thing that we thought that we were going to do, that we had the idea for. Because one of the first things we say is, oh, this person thief my idea. How can something be stolen that was never executed on or made public? Did they sneak into your room at night and read your journal, read your notebook that had your plan written down, if you even wrote it down? Did they touch your brain and then got the, like, something transferred? Y'all know, y'all know the saying about, how the trip finally made it out the group chat. There are some of us, our businesses, our ideas, our products, our services, they ain't even made it in the group chat to make it out the group chat. Because we holding it, scared, holding it in here, scared, holding it in our heart, scared, holding it, just wrote it on a piece of paper or in our journal, our book, or whatever, scared. Nobody could have stole from you because you ain't told a soul. Just say ouch if that's you. But I know one thing. If God wants something to manifest on the earth and he gave it to you and you slunk in, if you think you're going to be the only, if you think that he is going to hold up the progress of what he wants to happen on this earth for you and your lack of obedience, okay, all right. I learned this a hard way because I used to have that very same thing. And now I'm like, well, yeah, I thought to do it. I didn't do it. Oh, well, because who I could be mad at? Besides myself, not them. Congratulations. I'm glad you had the audacity to do it because I didn't. That's maturity and accountability, self accountability, and saying, you know what, I'm the problem. Now, there are times when you might get an idea, you might get a product, you might get a service, you might get something, and it's not for that time. Absolutely. It may not be the time for you to execute. There are things that you may have written down years ago or had in your mind from years ago that you just didn't execute on, but maybe it wasn't the time, and that's okay. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you knew you were supposed to do this thing. You knew, and you knew you got the instruction, and you still did nothing with it. That's what I'm talking about. Like I said, if it's applicable to you, just say ouch. You could listen, DM me and say ouch. If you have my personal number, WhatsApp me and say ouch. If you want to write ouch in the comments, come, let's talk. Let's just say ouch. It's okay. I promise you. But at the same time, we have to learn to do better. We can't keep going through life saying ouch, 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 and then don't do anything. You know how, listen, there are people that I follow on Instagram and other places, right? But Instagram is primarily where I spend time online. Some of them give such detailed information for free. Some of them give such detailed information in their paid programs, courses, sessions, whatever it is. And the reality is that most of us don't finish courses, we don't finish programs, we don't finish lives, we don't finish webinars, we don't continue and finish whatever it is that we bought. I haven't put up both of my hands and say that's me. Yes, of course. I fall into the majority of people. Somebody could hand us the playbook and we're not going to follow it. Even though we may complain and say, I wish someone would tell me how to do. Someone did tell me how to do. I just won't set the time aside to listen to the videos and complete the workbook. So can I really complain that I'm unprepared? Nope. I can't. And the thing is, if we're not ready now for the opportunities that are coming, When are we going to get ready? What are we doing to get ready? Or is that going to be a perpetual excuse? I'm not ready. I don't have this ready. I don't know how to do. I don't know when. I don't know if. It's literally a choice if we don't know how to do. It's a choice if we don't know when we'll start to get ready. It's a choice. And listen, it's okay to make that choice. It's okay if you don't have capacity in your life as it is laid out now. It's really okay. It's okay to say, you know what, I'm unable to, I'm incapable at this phase in life. It is okay. But at the same time, understand that you also maybe can't complain and say that, I wish that I had this, or I wish that I could do this, or I wish that I could do that. You're just not in that space of life. And it's okay. And I'm a very big person. I'm big on listen, if you don't have the mental capacity to do it, if you're not there mentally, don't put starting or running a business on yourself, especially if you already have a job. Don't put that on yourself. Handle your mental health, handle your responsibilities, handle what you need to do. The stress of a business may not help you. And then there are other people who, controversial opinion, but there are some of us who are suffering from depression and anxiety and different things because we are staying on jobs and we're not doing the things that we're supposed to be doing. And your business might be one of the things that will help you do the things that you're supposed to be doing. It's really situational. Let me say that. It's very situational. But entrepreneurship is one of those things where you jump from the heat into the fire. And unfortunately, we don't know. We don't know until we're in it. It's kind of like me asking a woman, how does childbirth feel? I can't understand it until I experience it. If I experience it, I could say to you, entrepreneurship is hard, it's this, it's that, but until you experience it, you can't necessarily understand what I'm talking about. Absolutely, you cannot play with your well-being. You cannot. And burnout is real. And burnout is something that takes years. This is what the experts say. This is not Shana. The experts say that burnout takes years to recover from, not a little 1 week vacation or a 2 week vacation. It takes years to recover from it. It takes years for your body to recover, for your mental well-being to recover. Take care of yourself. Take a step back as you need to. Again, you run the business. Don't let the business run you. I've been guilty of that as well. And when I say don't let the business run you, meaning don't create a jail, like I said before, that you hate. There's an opportunity that it was an opportunity, and I'm still turning it over in my head. But one of the reasons why I have not pursued it is because it may tether me to being on the island. And what do I mean by that? It may tether me to being on the island, and then I have to produce these things every week. I would have to produce these things every week with flowers, which we know are temperamental. They are fickle, they die, they can't be, like, they don't have a shelf life, they don't have a stable shelf life. Like, there's so many things happening. If I agree or if I pursue this agreement, I have to agree to be in place every single week to do this thing myself. And then what happens if I need to go take a break? What happens if I need to travel off the island? What happens if, and honestly, I'm sitting there thinking, is it worth it? To me right now, no. And I had to be honest with that. Because it would be a good look for my business, right? It would be. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say it wouldn't be a good look. But again, it's one of those things where I enter into that agreement if it works out, and then what? And then 6 months from now, I'm like, I friggin' ain't into this. I won't get out of this contract. It's crazy. I don't know why I agreed to it in the first place. If I could already see that happening to me, that's all right. I'm not gonna agree to it. Gina said, "Why are you talking my business and busting me with rock?" I just saying. I'm only saying. I'm only saying. And then there are some of us, we don't take the opportunities because we always want to be able to say that we're not ready. And then it's like, okay, what is your version of readiness? What is the end goal that would make you think that you're ready enough? Or does the goalpost keep moving? So it's kind of like, okay, if I want to launch, what's a random thing? If I wanted to launch a rock farm, don't ask me why or where I thought a rock farm came from just now, but go with me. And I say, okay, I want to launch this rock farm. Where am I going to get rocks from? I'll never find rocks, unique rocks. And then one day I'm at the beach and I find a few rocks and I like them. And I say, oh, I think people would buy them. Y'all follow my train of thought because there are people who buy rocks. There are people who sell rocks. Um, so I realized, you know what? I could find rocks at the beach that I could sell. And then I'm like, oh, I got it, I got it. And then I stop myself and I say, but girl, you don't have no place to store these rocks. You do not have a place to store the rocks. You need a hole, you need containers, you need to be able to label them properly, you need to be able to store them properly, you don't have a place to keep these rocks. And then miraculously someone says, oh, I have a extra room at my house. You could just keep your rocks there, right? And then I'm like, thank you so much, because I actually told someone about what I was thinking about doing, and they say they'll help me. But then I say to myself, well, how are these people gonna buy the rocks from me? Like, I need a website, I need social media, I need a place to buy, I need them to pay. Like, how are they gonna pay? And then I have a friend who's a website designer, and they're like, girl, I got you. I'll make the website. You just supply me with the information to put on the website. Okay, great. And then I say, oh my gosh, how, like, I need to be able to ship to people who live outside the Bahamas. How am I going to do that? But y'all see how I keep at every turn having a little breakdown because I keep thinking of more obstacles and more excuses. But yet, at every turn, I get help. Or at every turn, there's a conversation that I have that gives people the opportunity to help me or point me in a different direction, a helpful direction. But I keep thinking of something else that's going to stop me because I'm looking for excuses. That's how some of us are. And I know in this culture we talk about, oh, you cannot trust anyone, and you cannot tell people your business idea, and you cannot this and you cannot that. Well, here's the thing. This may sound harsh, but I'm going to say it anyway. There are many of us, our business ideas are not groundbreaking. I'm sorry to tell you, not every business idea is groundbreaking. There are some of us who have innovative ideas. There are some of us who have, like, wow, that's not many people could do that. And then there are some of us, as long as someone has a couple dollars and a thought to do it, they could do it because it's fairly easy to do. Why am I saying this? Be willing to tell some people about what you're planning on doing. You could tell people, yo, I'm going to make a pineapple upside down cake. Did you give people a recipe about how to make your pineapple upside down cake? No, you didn't. You just said, I'm going to make a pineapple upside down cake. And then you said it, and the person is like, oh my God, I love pineapple upside down cake. How much you charge? You have your first customer and didn't even think about it. It's just that you were willing to share that you are going to start making pineapple upside down cakes for sale. Now, I know I simplified it just now, and it's a little bit more nuanced than that. But sometimes you have to have, no, not sometimes. Usually, you have to be willing to have conversation. It's just that we don't know who to have conversations with. We don't have enough discernment. We don't get ourselves in proper spaces to present the ideas, to have opportunities presented to us. We want to be a vault and we want to hold things close to our chest. Except that because God made us to connect with other human beings, we need each other to do things. Isn't that funny? Some of us want to be an island so bad, except that the reality is you need supplies to sustain you on the island. And a lot of the times, the supplies have to come from other people. Now, let's be practical as well. There are some opportunities that some of us will miss out on because we don't want to go through the business plan process. Not the business plan, the business license process. Some of us do not want to get a business license. We don't want to reserve the trade name. We don't want to go to NIB. I'm speaking to myself because I still have to do something for a business. Some of us don't want to have to deal with inland revenue. Some of us don't want to have to deal with the business license process at all. Well, you can pay people for that. There are people who are experts in that and they'll do it for you. But just know that there are international entities that you would miss out on opportunities with them because you don't have a business license. And I can tell you that because I have the background where I have had to vet people for some of these international opportunities. I have had to even write the terms of references for some of those opportunities. And one of the standards, depending on whether or not they want an agency or an individual, is legally registered to operate in the country or whatever country that they are based in, i.e., the government knows that they are a legal operating entity. Some of you what's the word I'm looking for? Disqualify yourself from some of those opportunities simply because you don't have a business license. And y'all come close. Let me whisper something to you. Let me whisper. Y'all listening? I have worked with the IDB, worked with the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce. I've worked with Access Accelerator, okay, in various capacities over the years. 6-figure contracts are real. 5-figure contracts are real. And I'm talking about for Bahamian consultants. I'm talking about also for international people. These opportunities are real. But because no business license is in place, because there wasn't the time taken to see how to write a proposal or a pitch deck, how to properly present resumes, how to properly show the business's strengths on paper, opportunities were missed. Y'all, like I said, I've written terms of references for some of these things. I have reviewed terms of references for some of these things. And terms of references is another word for job descriptions basically job description, okay? I've been part of interviewing processes for some of these things. So I'm not talking out my whatever. I know because I've seen them over the years. I'm not talking off air. I'm talking about there are opportunities to make, what was the contract? There are opportunities to make $50,000, $60,000 for 6 months of work. Okay? I know that personally because I was offered that, but I was already engaged in another capacity on another project. 6 months, that much money. And it's possible for Bahamians. I didn't have to have a business license for that, right? I did need to be able to meet certain requirements on paper for that, like having a degree and experience, etc., etc. Why am I saying all that to you? Didn't I say, if you're not ready now, when are you going to get ready? Y'all know why I want a master's degree? Because that international money don't play. Oh, all right. All right. In the words of one of my friends, I tell you that. That international money, the money from international agencies, the international contracts, that money don't play. But here's the thing. I really can't play on that stage with a bachelor's degree. I need a master's. That's their starting that they're looking for. At least the jobs that I look at with international agencies. I can't, because I know what the scoring rubrics are. I've also been a part of making up scoring rubrics. I know what the people are looking for. I know what the requirements say. I know I'll get score so low off bat just because I don't have a master's degree. I'm going to get ready, is my point. I'm readying myself to get ready for those opportunities. And so I say the same to you. What do you have to do to get ready if you know or you feel that you're not ready yet? That's one of the things I have to do to get ready. Be honest with yourself about where you want to go. Be honest with yourself about what you want to do. Be honest with yourself about why you want to do those things, right? I have a reason why I want to do certain things. I do. It's not about money for me. It's not just about money. Money is good. I don't love it though. But money is good. What do you need to do to get ready if you feel that you are not ready? And there are some of you, honestly, you don't need another certification. You don't need another degree. You don't need another credential. You don't need another program. You don't need another nothing. Because you have what you need. You just don't think it's enough for whatever reason. Some of you just need to start. I spoke about that over a year ago on my live. I think it was January, February of last year. Some of you just need to start. You just need to start. And the opportunities, you'll be shocked by the opportunities that come to you because you said yes. You will try. Yes, you will do it. Yes, you will show up. Yes, you will make yourself visible. Yes, you will sell this thing. Yes, you will start this thing. Yes, you will go in that direction. Yes, you will pivot. Yes, you will start the business. Yes, you will work with that person or this person. Some of you just need to say yes and start. There are some of you, you don't want to pitch your business. You just, for whatever reason, you're like, I just want grant money, not loan. Nobody wants loan money, and I understand. You want grant money. You want a little $10,000. You want 20 grand, 50 grand. Some of y'all want $200,000, right? And then going to turn around and have the audacity to say you don't want to pitch. You don't think you should have to pitch. You don't want to learn how to pitch. All right. Okay. See how far that gets you. You want to people money, right? If that's a requirement, what do you have to lose besides $200,000 if it's that? $10,000 if it's that? $5,000 if it's that? $2,000 if it's that? You need a slow 500K? Nothing wrong with that, You want a slow 500K? You better have your pitch deck on deck. You better you better have a long document outlining all of your steps, and you could do that in a pitch format as well, a presentation. Now, you don't share that with everybody. That's a different conversation. You don't share that with everybody. You don't give your, remember I said, you're just telling the people you're making the pineapple upside down cake. You're not explaining to them how you do it. You're not explaining to them your exact recipe, your measurements. Don't do that. But you have to be willing to tell people, yes, I know people steal ideas in this country. Yes, I know. But business is a risk. And so, even if you tell people your about your business prematurely before you get certain things in place, the chances of it could still happen if you go public and then you start selling. The people still have a chance to see what it is that you're doing and still steal it if they want to steal. So what, you're going to live in mediocrity all your life because of they and them, whoever they and them are? I'm only saying. Y'all. I'm only saying, and I think I said it at the top of the year. There are some opportunities that are going to come to us in this season, and we have to be ready. Y'all, and again, I'm talking to myself. I sent out a speaker bio, a speaker one sheet today to this lady who I had a call with last month. Y'all, I am ashamed to say I'd even forgotten that I told her I was going to send it. This is someone in another country who found me on LinkedIn. And I had to apologize in the email until I realized that I didn't send it. I remembered that I didn't send it to her. But I also told her in the call that I had with her that I would put one together because I didn't have one easily and readily available to send to her. So even if this opportunity doesn't happen, whether it be because I'm not a good fit or, whatever it is, or because I took too long, the reality is I will have a speaker one sheet and I'll be ready for the next opportunity. Sometimes you got to take a potential L, move on, and learn from it, right? It is what it is. Y'all, I'm not sitting here talking to you from a place of perfection. I'm sitting here and talking to you from a place of, these are the mistakes that I made. These are the lessons that I've learned. These are the things that I would tell you not to do. These are the things that I would tell you to do. These are the things that I would tell you to consider doing. I'm not sitting here up on a soapbox saying that I'm perfect. I'm learning, and I want you to learn the lessons so you don't have to repeat them. That's all. That's literally it. That's all I really had for you. Let me make sure that that's all I had for you. And also, let me make sure that no one was trying to comment to me on my live. Gina said, yes, get a hold of yourself. Absolutely. Absolutely. Sometimes we just have to do better. Feels like Sesame Street. L is for lessons, not losses. Absolutely. Absolutely. You can only learn, right? The reality is you don't know what you don't know. And then the responsibility is, once you know something, now you have to move differently. You have to be better. Now, you don't have to be better 100% of the time because you're human, but try to do better most of the time. It's okay. And it's okay once you learn to say, hey, I learned this thing, to apologize, to say my bad, to say I didn't realize, to say whatever it is. Let me tell y'all, the Shana of 2022 and before that, I wouldn't have even bothered to send that speaker one sheet back to the person. I would have said, in my mind, I would have said, you know what, it's been too long. They're probably not interested anymore. I blew that chance. I'm not going to bother and I'm not going to reach out. I'm not going to send the document anymore. I'm embarrassed and I just want to move on and act like it never happened. But I told myself today, child, This ain't a season for that. And it's not. It's not. But had I not sent what was requested, I would have missed 100% of the shots that I don't take. Anyway, y'all talk to me. Was this helpful? Was this needed? How are you feeling? How are you feeling about opportunities? Do you feel like you're ready? Do you feel like you're aware? What's going on as I wrap up? I can smell the young man cleaning with bleach behind me. That means it's time to wrap this up. The opportunities that you do not get. Y'all, there's money to be made in this country. Gina says she's feeling hurt. There's money to be made in this country. There's money to be made outside of this country. Do what you have to do to figure out what your cheat code is. Work on finding your cheat code. I'm still working on mine. Find your cheat code. If you find that, for example, you need a US bank account for something and you have the ability to do it, get on a flight and go open that bank account. I remember I was coming back from, I think I was coming back from a workshop from Texas. And I took on the extra cost of stopping in Florida, hotel, car, whatever, food, obviously. As I said, I have to open a bank account, a US bank account, because I have some things I need to do. And so I was able to open the bank account. It was TD Bank. Do not waste your time with Bank of America if you don't have a US permanent address. Not just a place that you could send your mail to, but a US permanent address. TD Bank allowed me to open 2 bank accounts on the spot. And they're very easy. Customer service is good on the phone. They're all up and down the East Coast. So when I go to New York and I need to do something, I can go there as well, right? But I was willing to incur the cost. And in fact, I did it in that way because if I didn't stop over for the day and the night from Texas, then I would have had to fly back out, which I was willing to do, to just do a day trip so that I could open my bank account. It was that important to me. Moral of the story is, if you're willing to hop on a flight to go shopping, you could hop on a flight to go open a US bank account if that's what you need to do. I would recommend that you do it if you have the capacity to do it. I think the minimum that you need to start is, let me look it up again before I misquote myself. Let me look up what their minimum is to start, but I think I only put like $50 or $100 on my initial deposit to open my account. No, I probably did 100 because they do take out fees every month, right? So that allows me, for example, if I need to get paid and I have a floral design customer who's in the States and they need to pay me, I could actually use Zelle with my US bank account, and then I can get my money immediately on a card because they also give ATM cards at the same time. Immediately on the spot. It's not like here where you have to do this back and forth. It's not a business account. They are personal accounts. I'm not telling you about how to deal with taxes and this and that. I'm just explaining to you the easiest and best way to open a business bank account, right? before you get to the EIN stage and the business bank account in the US and all of that. Do what you have to do, is my point. Do what you have to do. Now, my laptop is dying, and I've been sitting on this very uncomfortable chair to remind me not to talk too long with y'all, and I still did it anyway, but that's okay. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. You could have been doing anything else in the world, but you decided to spend some time with me, and for that, I am always, always grateful. Like I said, like, share, tag somebody who needs to tune into the replay. And as you're watching, go back if you joined in late. Say ouch if it hurts. DM me. Say ouch in the comments. Talk to me in person if I see you. Give me your feedback. I always appreciate it. It helps me tremendously. You guys have no idea. So I will see you right here, same time-ish, next week, Monday. Actually, I think I have to go live early next week, Monday. So 6:30, because I have a meeting. So 6:30, I will be right here, same time. Peace. Have a great week.